Hello, my name is Venita Blackburn, and I'm a professor of fiction here to introduce you to the Fresno State's MFA program showcase of Ernesto Reyes' thesis manuscript, The Watcher. Ernie's thesis is about an artificial intelligence synthesized to look like an ordinary man, tumbling his way through the timeline of human history to save the world. Sort of. Rather than stay on target, the AI is distracted by the charm of the people he encounters, enraptured by the small delights and horrors of their lives, even savoring his first hug, which Ernie described as not bad. The book is set in Fresno, specifically a warehouse, with all the well intentioned efficiency that erodes into dysfunction. The book is like a perfect sheet of bubble wrap. Each sentence has a satisfying pop that demands another and another and another. Ernie's narrator says, I've seen a child born in a hospital, and I've seen grown men die on the battlefield, but never have I seen either take place at home. I know it's silly to think about, but I wonder if it's any different. The magic of the story is in the voice, which sounds like a boy mixed with a god, mixed with a gas station attendant, mixed with a pro wrestler. Ernie is acutely aware of the exploitation of labor in our world, the commodification and quantification of our days, how our bodies bend into the shapes of the buildings we occupy, the job titles we acquire, the badges and name tags and key cards until we are no longer the worker but the product being sold, the shipper and the box, the customer and the bubble wrap. There is something horrifying about this reality, yes, but also ridiculous. Ernie is able to let us laugh at our problems and know that there is something that could cure it, but he's not going to make it easy. And that is the answer. Ernie's thesis is about living, not salvation, because surviving is not the point of us. Our destiny is just one part of the equation. The rest is more intimate. It's about sharing candy in a parking lot, fist fighting a stranger in an alley, learning all the reasons people hug each other, and the thrill that is produced every time. I'm excited for the world we're about to enter, and I introduce you all to Ernesto Reyes.
Thank you so much, Venita, for all the guidance and support that you've shown me throughout and even before my time in the program. Thank you so much, Tanya and Ben, for your support, your encouragement, and your generosity as well. It means everything to me, and I couldn't have been more honored to have you three be a part of my thesis committee. Thank you so much, Jefferson, for all the work that you do to make the creative writing scene at Fresno State what it is, and for allowing such a forum such as this to take place. Thank you so much, Stephen, for your continual support, your generosity, and the grace that you've shown all of us in the program. And thank you dearly to everyone else who has any part in making the MFA at Fresno State what it is. You know, by the time that you'll be watching this, you'll perhaps see my name, Ernesto Reyes, on the bottom with virtual showcase reading right next to it. Two things about that. One, when thinking about who I want to thank, give a shout out, and possibly dedicate this showcase reading to, I thought about a number of things. And I quickly came to the conclusion that there's simply way too many people to thank. Then I came to the realization that if you're watching this right now, there's a good chance that you've had some part in me being here. So if you're watching this, I want to thank you specifically for all that you've done. Again, it means everything to me. So that's the first thing I want to address. The second thing concerns itself with my name. As most of you who know me know, I just typically go by Ernie. Something that maybe most of you might not know, however, is that I have quite the name. My full name is Ernesto Reyes Lopez II. I have the great honor and privilege of being named both after my father, Ernesto, the first, and my grandfather, Badelio, both of whom I'm dedicating this showcase reading and this thesis project as a whole. I'm also dedicating this reading to my mother, who, without her, I would clearly not be in this position. She and my dad were the only people to ever push me and to encourage me to try my best in anything that I did. And without them, I wouldn't even be in a place to thank anyone else. I also have to thank my younger brother, Andreas, for being my closest friend and for being the balance in my life when I need it most. So Mom, Dad, Andreas, thank you so much. Without you, I clearly wouldn't be here. This moment is yours as well. I love you three. And Dad, I miss you so dearly. So now on to the thesis before I get even more emotional. My thesis is a novella titled The Watcher. And it actually began with the conversation that I had about the Terminator movies. I loved watching those movies as a kid, and just one day I'd figured, I was thinking about those movies, and I was thinking, man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's this big guy, sent back for this big mission to stop Judgment Day. Then I thought to myself, well, where's the little guy? So that's the starting idea that I had. Where's the little guy? The thesis is about an AI who travels back in time for a mission. This AI feels jaded and despises humanity. But this AI is also on a search for personal meaning and connection. The thesis explores the differences between lower, middle, and upper rank AIs. There's a line in the thesis in which the main character goes, I'm sent back in time to protect so-and-so, and he is important. Maybe not John Connor stopping Judgment Day important. If he was that important, I wouldn't be here, because that would definitely be a mission for someone else, in particular, a higher ranked artificial intelligent being. So my thesis explores artificial intelligence and human life, and just how similar those two things are, as well as themes of free will and fate. I hope you all enjoy this reading. I'm actually going to read from one of from one of the quieter chapters, I think. This chapter, there isn't necessarily something hugely climactic. There isn't a lot of world building. There's not a lot of scientific terminology in this chapter. It's just a scene in which the AI has just has just bought a pack of cigarettes and a bottle of wine as a form of celebration. And they walk down this alley and they see a homeless man who's slowly dying. And the AI finds itself being drawn to this moment. So this is one of the more human moments for the AI, and it's one of my favorite sections in the thesis. So again, I hope you enjoy it. Okay. Much like humans, artificial intelligent beings too have a form of celebration once they've completed an important task. Now, for me, the type of celebration is always a little different with each assignment. Sometimes I'll have a shot of tequila if I'm in Mexico, or a shot of cru if I'm in Kiribati, or a cocktail if I'm in Canada, or some green tea if I'm in Japan, or a Chibuku shake shake if I'm in Botswana. But if I am sent in the modern era, my preference is always the same. I'll buy a pack of cigarettes and a bottle of wine. I've been asked a few times by others, why these two items? But to be honest, there's no deep or serious reason. I'm a simple AIB for one, and smoking a cigarette and drinking a glass of wine just looks cool to me. Besides, there's not a whole lot of other ways to celebrate the conclusion of a mission. I remember buying a lottery ticket a while ago, and wouldn't you know it, it was the jackpot winner. I thought it was exciting until I saw the color of my ring turn into a bright red. That's how I got my first point violation. So again, I just like to keep things simple nowadays. Not to mention that Fresno, surprisingly, has some of the best wine in the world. I know you wouldn't assume that, but let me tell you, the grapes here are just oddly amazing, and so is the wine. When I leave the warehouse, I walk to the corner store that's closest to my rejuvenation center. And across from the corner store is a tire shop, a bar, and a pet cemetery. A little strange, but at the same time, oddly convenient. A quick out and go, I take a shortcut back home and I walk down the dark alley. That's where I see a homeless man lying near two trash cans. He's dirty and unshaved, his clothes unwashed and soiled. His hair is old and gray. His nose is large, and the shape of his face reminds me of a rabbit. I can tell from his top hat and overcoat that he's not a product of this generation. He's from an older time, a different time. He's holding an empty bottle of liquor. He has his eyes closed and he looks like he's dead. But he's not. Not yet, at least. His heart is beating slowly. When he opens his eyes, he looks at me. It seems as if he could barely keep his eyes open, and he begins to mumble. He clears his throat. "A smoke?" he finally asks. I look at him, holding my pack of cigarettes and bottle of wine. "One more smoke, sir." He's weak. He knows just as well as I do that he's dying. The next day, I know he'll be lying there in this same spot, hardly moving a muscle, barely living at all. I know that he's completely alone. I know that he was once a big shot banker in his younger years, but his wife left him because of his drinking problem. I know the wife took their only daughter away, and I know that he hasn't seen her in years. I know this because that's on the public record. I don't know if he ever thinks about them. I don't know if he ever misses them or if he regrets any of his life decisions. I know human history, not human psychology. But something tells me that he does. And I hand him my pack of cigarettes. He holds the pack in the palm of his hand, but he doesn't open it. Instead, he holds it close to him, near his chest. "Thank you," he says. I nod. I lean down and lay the bottle of wine next to him, but he shakes his head. "No, no, no, please, no." I can tell by examining his respiratory system that it's hard for him to talk. I nod again. I see the once distraught and distressed look on his small, rabbit-like face that came from the suggested bottle of wine is now gone. And he looks like he's at peace once again. After a while, he closes his eyes, still holding the pack of cigarettes. I stand there and I look at this man. I've seen dying humans before, seen many of them. I've seen some humans take their first breath on this world. And I've seen others take their dying last. And although some of them accept this matter of life, many of them are resistant to die. Rarely are humans ever indifferent. I wish I could explain why this homeless man is so intriguing to me, but I can't. After a while, I pick up the bottle of wine and I go home. Thank you again, everyone, so much for listening. Again, if you took the time to watch this and to hear me read that short chapter, there's a good chance that that you've had some part as to why I'm here. And for that, I thank you dearly. So love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. Love you, Andreas.